Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I said all of the great things and you guys can hear. And worse, he grabbed Millennium Falcon V. And it's surprising that Chris's first action wasn't to suspend mob points so that way keeping inconsequential losses off the table for at least a turn. Or force you to go to space instead of having to dig for it. That's actually a big thing in this matchup. When I was testing it, that's what I found. I'd rather float You'll Be Dead because you need inconsequential losses. It's such a key card for this deck.
I'm hearing they can't hear me, so I'm just gonna turn everything on and we'll see what works. Yeah, I mean, I think inconsequential losses really depends on
for Chris if he there we go. Now everyone can hear me, so I'm gonna stop turning on things. Depends a lot on if Chris expects to be doing much in the way of ground battles.
I mean, at some point you kind of have to go somewhere on the ground, right? Maybe.
Probably, but if you can basically force Brad to strand the guns where you don't care, that might be Chris's plan. It might also be a matter of Brad grabbed Gall. He's likely going to be able to turn on mob points easily enough.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's just the fact that you kind of force the player to actually make that step versus having the added protection. Because like the 3 forfeit and can keep a guy alive, that's really the benefit.
Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't have hated the play, especially because I don't think you're going to have too much in the way of shield busting. Like you're not losing a bunch of shields.
Yeah. Now, interesting, Work plays the virtual Moss ISB, which is the one that lets you go back and forth so you can't shuffle necessarily. So that's interesting.
Apologize, just trying to get myself set up in chat so I can comment. You guys still getting an echo from me or no?
Kind of catch everyone up. We've had normal Watcher Step first turn of full Corellia and has played Moss ISB and just Flash Mirax to get Booster and Pulsar Skate, Pulsar Skate and Mirax to Tatooine. Probably going to draw a few cards.
I would imagine, unless he's going to... I mean, he'll probably Mirax a card.
And he gets a useful, which is important. Which is a nice play because you can play her to the system and not have to get the useful by playing her to a location. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid card, and that might be the reason to play it along with the Drain -1 on that Mos Eisley. So the ability to okay, I'm just still trying to figure out which microphone to turn off to stop the echo that All right, so that was the one apparently. All right, well, it works now, so we're all good here. Wirfs just doing some thinking and figuring out, I think, what he wants to draw, what he wants to plan for. I expect we'll see something like a it's a hit or control combo to cancel that drain.
Yeah, that's usually the play. Like you want to, if you're doing Kessel Run, depending upon which version you're playing, like taking some early damage, you can stabilize the Watcher Step, but it'll be interesting to see if wirfs updated this with the new interrupt that allows you to play Mara and her Saber.
Yeah, I would imagine he did. I mean, that feels like a wirfs level thing, and there he's going to use Walkling, it looks like, probably to grab Kessel, or Kessel Run, just to make sure he doesn't accidentally top deck. That almost to me screams he doesn't have a good way to stop that drain. So,
or it's one of those things that you're trying to plan, you know, what you're doing turn 2, turn 3, etc.
Yeah.
You know it's in your reserve deck, go find it now rather than activate it later.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he can't peel right now off the top just because if you lose Kessel, you lost the game. So it's still a dangerous. Although Brad may not drain.
I mean, they're going to lose something from the deck.
Yeah. But peeling 1 isn't too bad.
That one Kessel.
Yeah. But he's got the Walkling if it's, you know.
Oh, if someone top decks Kessel, I snap for a coward and say, all right.
Yeah. And that's when you have to then get your, you know, you flipped for the other thing, although I think if you flip Kessel, then you snap pull coward and then drain just to bury it and say thanks for playing. So it's possible Chris had Kessel in hand. Yeah, it's also possible Chris had Kessel in hand and we're all just spitballing ideas because this is sort of a setup part of the game right now, and we can explain the what in about 12 seconds, and the why is really self-explanatory. Like, Brad put down Maul. All right, well, that's kind of how it goes. It looks like he did Maul from hand, so he didn't drop him from reserve deck and have to move him. He just dropped him from hand straight into the first light 2-0 site. You know, we're just getting some setup going. Now we're going to start to see something interesting happen. I expect wirfs will not drain. So, yep, he goes straight into deploy. Grabbing Kessel, hopefully, with Watcher Step. Must be grabbing it because he doesn't give up a verify.
Makes me wonder if Kessel is what he put back with Mirax, or if he just, you know, rolled the dice and top deck and said, I'll take my chance.
I feel like Chris is too good of a player to YOLO a top deck. Because, yeah, if you lose Kessel, it's just, all right, well, you lost the game. Thanks for playing.
We have our first revert.
Chris is asking for a revert, and I believe your hat up, and Brad allows it because Brad's a good guy. So apparently no one looked at your hat.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's more of a suggestion. It's not like a stated thing.
I tend to be, reverts are you let them go when they don't immediately, when they don't change the knowledge gained. You know. Well, Falcon going down with probably Han Solo would be my guess.
You said it wrong. It's Han ... Solo.
I was trying to be fancy and just give it that pregnant pause to give it a minute. So I was apparently, you know, I'm just not a good enough actor to make that work, and that's very possible. So, but they come down for dirt cheap at Corellia, and Chris reverted too far. I don't know what he... Oh. I think he reverted and forgot to grab Kessel.
Yeah.
Meant to revert to being able to grab Kessel. There we go. That's
I mean, in this situation, I mean, Chris knew Solo was in there from when he went to put Castle, and he just clicked like I did that earlier today. I was like, look, it's one too far.
Yeah, that stuff happens sometimes, and that's part of what we were talking about with reverts. Like, you don't, if you're not giving away any information, you don't, there's no reason to deny a revert on something that's, obvious. It doesn't happen in real life, and you don't do that to someone in a live game.
Now, if he's playing the Kessel run, you want to take it. Gem Shuffle is going to make this one of the longest Kessel runs ever, right? Like, well, doing pretty well so far, which that right there could be a key card in this matchup.
Yeah, especially since he can grab that with Han, ... solo, right?
You got it right.
So,
hey, I'm very partial to that because that was my really cool fancy foil that I got for being getting to participate in the Champions League.
Nice.
So on the Kessel run so far, we have What Chance, R2V, Master Luke, and All Wings. Not the longest Kessel run ever.
It took him 4 to get there, so it's going to be, this move phase, he'll finish it on his next move phase.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not great, but not terrible,
I mean, you're kind of, and if you're Brad, you're gonna do the one thing to faster, but then do you bother draining? Because like you reduce or you make Chris wait.
Yeah.
Full effect.
I was wondering to see who else Chris was gonna put down there, because like that would be the other thing. I mean, Brad's got 14 cards in hand, and he's going to have 19 force to use. Like, this feels like a I'm going to come after you turn.
Yeah, the first light's coming down at some point pretty hard to either Tatooine. I mean, it's tough because you want to fight him on Kessel because of Granite 3. So Mirax is alone.
I feel like Chris has got to put someone with Mirax. Well,
I imagine it'll probably be Corrin or someone who's going to be full.
Yeah. Through Kira on the Falcon as well as a passenger. Solo's only ability 2. No, he's a 3. Okay. I feel like you might have wanted Kira as a pilot, simply on the off chance that Brad's going real fancy with Zuckuss and Mist Hunter old school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never too early for vodka. I mean, we don't have chat feeding through in the on the Twitch feed, so you're not going to see that in the YouTube later. So Chris is just drawing some, leaving Mirax alone. He's got to have some sort of an answer.
Yeah, that's screaming a barrier. Or a reacting Chewbacca.
Can he afford Chewbacca? With only 2 force, I don't think he can afford Chewie. Chewie costs 3 as a react, doesn't he? Unless he's going to Han's site.
Yeah.
So that screams he's sitting on barrier, because It's a Trap would cost more.
Mm-hmm.
So like a Blast Door Controls would be real bad here. And there's Force Push, so Brad says, well, I got 19 cards in Force Pile. There's got to be something good. And he probably isn't planning to Force Push Maul out of a battle anytime soon.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth in my testing if I like the new combo Force Push for force push V in this matchup.
I love the idea of combo force push.
Yep.
And I love, but I use force push so much as a save yourself with a Dark Jedi that it's really hard for me to be like, oh, I just want to give up the, save that Gick. Like, because that's what I end up using it as a decent amount of times. Is like, all right, this is just a, this is a save my Dark Jedi Gick. So there's first light. So he's going to Gaul right away. He's not even going after him. I don't.
I mean, Gaul's great.
Yeah. I mean, Gaul's important if he's going at him on the ground. But
we need to thank Chris Kelly for subscribing for 35 months using probably with Prime. So thank you, Chris. And he also said Garrett is right. The idea is better than the actual card. I think is what that said.
Yeah. I mean, Garrett is right is just a general term that should go in your lexicon. I like that we have Kira on both sides of the table right now.
I mean, she's awesome in this matchup, and
she's awesome for both sides. Like, honestly, she's a... And Brad's got the guns down. See, this is what I was talking about, where if you'd have burnt the shield, it wouldn't have done anything because Chris is unlikely to go attacking this turn. And you would have just waited till, you recycle everything if you wasn't in there when you searched with Shadow Collective and just gone and gotten losses. Like, it's... Grabbing the shield feels better than it actually ends up playing. So...
you also had Dryden Voss come down, to drive his yacht, so that's nice.
I believe Dryden Voss comes down to add 1 to the total. Is it total battle destiny with first light? Because it's just a gangster aboard. So
well, it'd be +2 because you get 1 from Maul and then him.
Yeah, Voss just adds 1 for himself. Like that's all he does. I mean, Amelia Clarke is an amazing actress, and that's what we're seeing right now. So. Shadow Collective's going to make Chris lose a force. Chris doesn't really care because he's just going to get those back during his move phase anyways.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what line Chris is going to take here because he's going to have to go to a site at some point if he wants to stay in this race. Because, next turn he's facing 2 from the
7.
7.
Yeah. It's because it's 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
And he's got
and he'll get the what chance back, but that he won't be able to deploy it until next turn. Because he'll get it back in move phase. So throwing out the grappling hook. That's a card. That and Tentacle, the more I remember when they were spoiled, and the more I just have them, the happier I am. Like, I like grabbers. I like things that mess with barrier. So.
Chris Kelly in the chat is saying light side Kira, she cancels the game text with dark side Kira at the same location.
Maybe, or, maybe dark side Kira should cancel light side Kira.
We're really going to get into persona dualities in this stream?
I feel like we should. So, Chris,
in case
revealing Lebo.
This isn't vodka, all right? It's water.
Okay. I wasn't judging.
Chris says, no way, man, watch the movie.
So, he revealed Lebo, and Outrider was not there. So we're dropping Chewie on board the Falcon as well.
Which will turn off Brad's Phantom retrieval.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, so right now, Brad can't retrieve because of Chewie. And Chris, his retrieval is double. His retrieval cost is doubled because of Kira. So she'd cost 8. She'll make that Kessel run cost him 8. But it's not like Chris is really hurting for force right now. But he's got to have an answer here for something, because he's in kind of a bad position right now. All right, so Mara Jade going down, grabbing a card. I like that. Is he going to do something fun with Mara going crazy attack style?
I mean, you could see him come down with Mara and Talon card.
And just kind of count on insane defense value to try and stop him.
Yeah.
Let's see what the next card is. So, problem is with that blaster, like, you've got to come down with 4 guys or really just 1. You know, because 2, you're not going to be able to say, you're not going to have someone live to next turn. So,
I mean, I think Brad took a chance to secure space, satisfy ultimatum because he didn't want to eat the drain at Kessel or 3. But I agree with you, especially someone as important in this matchup as Kira, for just making the retrieval so expensive. I probably would have liked to see another character, but, you know, 19 force.
Ooh.
It was quick.
All right.
I wonder
if we're going to see him battle off the 1 and then consolidate, maybe?
Yeah, that seems to be the play.
Well, he's not going to be... He's only got 2 force, so he's not battling... He's not battling and then consolidating.
Well, in the move phase, you can move from that...
Oh, yeah, you can move for free.
So...
Yeah. So battle off Dre and Ponda and then move them in front of Kira. So, because with Luke's hand and lightsaber... Ooh. So yeah, here's where Chris Kelly is gonna see the power of Rebel Scout Luke. So, and Celebration coming down is...
Yeah, Celebration is gonna be key, but I think this is gonna force Brad to either 1, hopefully he's packing a Celebration Campler and isn't going back to move, or 2, he's gonna have to move the first light over and contest Tatooine because he can't let that go unchecked.
Yeah. And Chris just gave up on the retrieval from Kessel Run because he doesn't have the force to pay for secret plans. So
he loses 1 this turn, and he may just not pull the card with on and pull it in his move phase next turn because there's still 3 stacked, right?
No, there's only 2 stacked.
Yeah. Well.
So he could finish it here, and honestly, like, it might be worth just giving up the retrieval.
Because the only thing in his lot pile right now is Starting Interrupt, Lando, Theron Net, and...
Yeah, like his lost piles, a couple of those characters you wouldn't mind getting back. There's a force. I think that's going to miss Talon.
Yeah.
So, although it probably doesn't matter too much. He could add 1 to it with Maul, can't he? Yeah.
He could, but that's going to make it 5. That
5 should hit because it's a +1.
Yep. So,
yeah. It's... And there's the the Dr. E text, which I don't see a lot of value in. I guess it saves you the force. Because otherwise he's got a couple more force to lose. So, because you're not killing Luke with attrition. He's immune to less than 8 here with the hand, so. So now Chris is deciding if he wants to grab something back with the hand. I think he might be doing the same thing we were going. What did he have in Lost Pile again? There's the 4 for Battle Destiny. Ooh.
Close call.
Brad with the close call to drop it down to a 1, which I don't hate. Simply, again, save himself 3 force. Like, you know, because at this point then you can probably just lose the gun and take no overflow.
Yep.
And you're okay with that. He'll take, what, 1? Because that's a 5. So the gun will peel for 3. And Dre and Pondar are 0. So he'll take 1. That's fine. So now, if you're Chris, do you move Luke in over to Mos Eisley, or do you just move Mara to the Cantina and let Brad drain for 1 at Mos Eisley?
I think you consolidate in front of Kira. Because then it's not only the drain of 1, but then he gets a ping from You'll Be Dead.
Yeah, but so Brad lost the gun from used pile for his 1 battle damage. That surprises me a whole bunch. And I actually prefer the consolidating the Cantina.
I mean, it becomes a drain of 2 because Ultimatum probably will be satisfied, but we'll see.
Yeah, but it's going to be, at best, it's a drain of 2 at the Mos Eisley if you hold it. And this way, it's more things Brad's got to put down to try and take you on. Like, if you consolidate at Mos Eisley, Brad's already got a dude and a gun there. You consolidate in the Cantina, Brad has to come up with 1 more dude and 1 more gun to balance it off, and we just saw him lose a gun, which I'm still a little thrown on that. So,
what if he thought he was losing what he drew for Battle Destiny and sequencing? Because he drew Hondo.
Yeah, I wouldn't like losing Hondo either, though.
No, I mean,
so,
someone who's got a lot of grief for including, my top 8, dark side non-bounty hunter aliens. I love Hondo.
Hondo's solid. So we see Chris places the Master Luke in used pile. So now he's down to 1 card on Kessel Run. Does he complete it here with Han ... solo? Or are we... Yep, he's going to complete it. And taking the what chance do we have into hand. So he can put it down next turn and lessen the You'll Be Dead damage. And I like that play quite a bit. So double back, going to go get, I'd imagine, Dengar?
Forlong. Or no, Forlong's on your table. Yes.
Dengar with gun. Yep.
Yeah.
But I can't see Dengar with gun doing anything in the Cantina. Like, that's part of the problem is, like, what is he going to do in the Cantina right now?
That's shoot Mara.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to draw a 5 to hit Mara. There's not that many of those in the deck.
It's Shadow Collective. There's that many of them.
Yeah, there are, but it's no guarantee. So it's just getting a drain of 1 and 1, and then a ping for 1.
So he lost Master Luke and Wedge.
Yep, and an all wings combo. And there's the guy Chris didn't really want to face, the Aura with blaster rifle.
The gal.
The person. I use dude as an asexual pejorative. That's
there we go.
Men, women, children, inanimate objects, pets, anyone can be a dude as far as I'm concerned.
I like it. Shizor's joined the party.
And I like the Shizor because, so now in theory, Gall, I mean, hitting Luke would be rough. And Gall won't do anything with Aura's gun. Because that could have been really nasty if he hits Luke and then Galls him away. Suddenly Mara doesn't draw Battle Destiny against Shizor.
Right.
Oh, all right. So I'm ready for anything. Says only one weapon per battle can be fired there. Now, if Brad had Maul and his double-bladed, he'd still get 2 swings. But, ooh, and there's Proxima. So Brad had the cards. Although Proxima would have done nothing if he'd tried to consolidate at Mos Eisley. So,
she would have burned in this.
Yes.
But he wouldn't have played her.
Yeah, but it meant he wouldn't have faced the second Battle Destiny. So he gets the flip right away, which is good because now he gets the recirculate and reshuffle. So he's got some stuff to do there, and he can pay 1 to shoot. And he'll shoot at Mara. And that's a miss. Even if he adds, that's a miss.
Yeah, he draws 3. It's not going to be enough.
Yep.
This battle is going to go bad for Brad.
Possibly. So I'm more worried about the next battle for Brad. Like, I don't think.
I agree with you, and I think that's the reason I said it. Is that I think this is going to set up a unfavorable state for Brad.
But at the same time, Chris has only got 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, I mean,
like
the only way I make this play is if I have a stunning leader in my hand for next turn.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Brad's only got 4 cards too. Like, Brad might be trying to use this as just I'm going to try and clear you completely off. And with the Destiny this deck can run, I don't hate that play. So it's, and especially if he had hit Mara there, it could have gotten real spicy for Brad.
And I don't mind the play, but you still want to make sure you've got some. Oh, Monarch. Somebody's playing
old school Monarch, no less. Although this is a deck that's running, multiple masterful moves, so the old school Monarch as a burn kind of out of nowhere when your opponent's drawing, grabbing a bunch of cards and just comfortably going up to 14, you just be like, oops.
Yeah.
That's pretty nasty. So that 8 is not what he really wanted. It'll clear Luke, but it'll only clear Luke. So Chris is going to get that free drain turn.
It could be Luke or Mara.
And
9.
Oh, Mara's a 9? Okay.
She's +2 from the flip side of the objective.
Okay. So it is Mara, yeah. So now Chris does not draw Battle Destiny just to make sure Brad has to lose that second gun. Sorry About the Mess would be really big here.
Yep.
Like, that would be a break the game open. Brad's, put a fork in him. Brad's done right there. Because the Sorry About the Mess on Aura Singh and then a utter beatdown on Proxima would just be unpleasant. But I don't know if Chris is running that in here.
So with the flip during the battle, there'll be one more ping and do the 6 off the top. But he'll be able to retrieve that with Celebration the next turn.
Yeah, he'll retrieve that with Celebration, or and he can buy on a canned back any 1 interrupt, but I don't think there's any in there that he really needs with the Bionic Hand.
I think that has hit is moving into attack position, so you're right.
Yeah.
He just do.
And he could just play it from Lost, so there's no reason to go get it. So Chris has got to figure out what he wants to activate. If you look at the clock, Chris is definitely taking a lot of thinking time. Like Brad's got 15 minutes of time more than Chris does here. But I feel like Chris is in a decent spot. Like I think he's used his thinking time well, and hopefully he can come up with a good solution for the puzzle here. So only 2 cards in reserve. All right.
So he's going to do 4 points of damage and retrieve 1 this turn.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, only leaving 1 in reserve is an interesting...
2.
Or 2, yeah. It means he's not battling.
He's not battling at the canteen. He could go after a lone Kira.
Yeah, but with 5 cards in hand, I feel like the likelihood that he's got enough to go after Kira effectively seems low.
Oh, I agree with you. It's just, I mean, leaving 2 signals, there's no point.
Yeah. There's the what chance.
Which right now Brad satisfies because he's on more battles. So he's not reducing the ping damage yet.
Well, they're on the same number of battlegrounds.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Maul's still up at 2.
Yeah, Maul's not at a battleground. So right now they're both at 3. So he would be reducing it from 2 to 1.
Which is only 1 right now because Brad only controls 1 site with a gun.
Yeah, but Luke's going to move away. There's no way you're leaving Luke there alone against or on Proxima. There's just too... Unless Chris has got some sort of crazy answers. You know, and that might be Chris is sitting on a Blast the Door kit or something equivalent. All right, so Chris is going with the Mirax. Gets him back. That would be one of the destinies he drew with Luke. I think that might be his control tunnel vision. We'll find out if he controls right now. There's Melos with Mirax, just to put a second pilot up there for something. And Lebo for more Kessel Run ping damage, I believe. Yep, opponent loses 1 force for Kessel Run, so it's just steady plinking. I think you move Luke to the docking bay and just say okay.
Like right now you're on the ground and get your drain done.
Yeah, right now you're winning the drain race. And especially with the, you're effectively draining for 2, 3, 4, 5 and retrieving 1 to Brad's effective drain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I'm subtracting 1 from the what chance. So he's draining for 2, 2, 1, and then doing 1 with what chance, or doing 1 with you'll be dead. So it's close right now, but like I think the card Chris grabbed with Mirax was the control tunnel vision he drew for the weapon destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm right on that, now he controls that drain of 2 and he can do that again, and all of a sudden he's getting ahead in the race because he's got 14 down and 9 in his hands. He's got 23 to Brad's 28. So Brad's slightly ahead on numbers, but there's the it's a hit.
Yep.
There's the grab for the it's a hit, which is fine. That's, But Brad's only got 4 cards in hand. I don't think he can come after Luke super effectively.
No, I think this will be a chase scenario where Aura will just be shadowing him and be reinforced Proxima at the Cantina.
And that seems potentially bad. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if Chris is running a Sari combo. And that could be a really nasty thing to just use as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So, drain of 2 in the Cantina. So wirfs did not snap control it. All right, so he did not grab the control, or he's saving it for something, as he loses the I'm ready for anything and the all wings combo off the top.
He must really love the 8 cards in his hand.
Yeah, Watch Your Step kind of does this sometimes, though. Like, you get to a low amount of... There goes the perimeter scan from hand, which... Yeah, I don't think you're facing a early... I don't think Boba Fett's coming down this way. Like, that's really the only card you're worried about in the maintenance cost.
He can't come down in this matchup anyway.
Boba Fett?
Broke Boba can't be played.
Oh, yeah.
The only one you can play is the Cloud City one.
That's right. Yeah, so you're not at all... So...
No, you can't play the new one with Blaster, which would be sick in the deck to capture.
Oh, yeah.
Someone asked the force counts. We are at...
Brad was like 4 ahead. It was... So now we're at 12 and 6 is 18 to 16, 23, 26.
Yeah.
So Brad is about 6 ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And there comes Dengar with Gun Virtual after he dropped Shizor and moved the Black Sun Blaster over to Shizor. And just load up the Cantina. Dengar with Gun's an interesting play. So he's flipping there.
Mm-hmm.
If Brad's got that tracked, he might just be shooting down Luke and calling it a day. Although, I don't know that he could have it tracked. Like, he needs a 7 to hit Luke, doesn't he? Because Luke's defense value, or he needs a 6, because Luke's defense value +1 with the lightsaber.
Right. I mean, if he knows where Masterful's at, which he wouldn't be able to know that.
Yeah, he hasn't played a Masterful yet, and the only one we've seen was a peel off the top.
Right, and he did reshuffle and recirculate after the last. Yeah, he's just moving over.
So I like that play, unless, and Chris playing the local defense put that down, which actually would have saved him from the Gaul beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
So grabbing the wild card, which I'm expecting he'll just drop at Corellia and say thanks. As Brad moves Maul out to the battleground site, trying to just get ahead in the battleground count.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to maintain that a sorry about the mess would be absolutely devastating here for Brad. Like, if Chris has a sorry about the mess, just a sorry aura, beat up Dengar, and lock down staying ahead of that race, that could be real bad.
All right, so
there goes Walkling. Which makes sense, because Chris certainly doesn't need the activation at this point. And he just wants cards in deck, you know. He's a little low. A little low right now.
I don't want to cross-reference this. The sun's getting pretty low.
Okay, and tracking us, just activate one. Yeah, Chris is just dumping everything he can into his life force to do something. Like with 5 cards in hand, so...
Yeah, he's going to lose another one when he flips back.
Yep.
And he loses, you do have your moment D from reserve deck.
Okay, so he's still... Let's see how many he activates here, because I think that'll give us a clue on what he's doing otherwise. Brad has not yet played an interrupt this game, I don't think. I just know Chris's grabber is still empty, and I'm thinking back in the game, and I don't think Brad's played a single interrupt yet.
You would be correct.
No, he played double back. He played the double back to grab the Dengar. That's the only thing he's done.
If we were giving away trivia, things, that would be a good one.
It really would have been. And we do have a couple AI packs to give away. We should think about something like that.
Okay. So Chris activated everything.
All right.
1.
There went the Monarch.
And he drains for 2 and a ping of 1 at Kessel. He uses IG-88.
With gun.
Aura Seeing with Blaster from hand. Both of these 2 are from hand.
Yep.
And First Strike from reserve deck.
And he'll ping him 1 with Lebo.
Which top decks is Zamweppel, leaving 2 cards in Brad's hand. Chris will retrieve 1, which sadly is a 2.
Yeah. I think Chris has got to be happy he's seen characters go away.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think here you'll see Luke move probably over with Kira.
Yeah.
Unless he's got some sort of battle trick.
Moving Luke over is going to save 2 force because it'll turn off 1 ping because what Chance isn't on.
Yeah.
He drops a lone wild card, which I think is safe to do because Brad probably played all of his face.
Yeah, I think wild card at Corellia is totally safe. I would be very willing to drop that, but it's more even with that, you can't get ahead of the battleground count right now.
Correct.
So depending on what's in wirfs' hand, you could see, I wouldn't even hate a dude at the West Gallery. A Corin Horn at the West Gallery would not be the worst thing ever. Because I don't think Brad's got a way to really contest that right now.
Actually, the place to go to is going to be, the reception area, because that one will be a drain too.
Yeah.
The reduction is
the smuggler.
Smuggler, yep.
It'd be a drain. Well, yeah, it'd be a drain of 3 reduced to 2. So now the other thing I could have seen here is put the wild card at Tatooine, fly the skate to Corellia, or fly the skate to Kessel, and fly the Falcon over to Gaul, and start forcing Brad to pick a spot in space.
Mm-hmm.
What would have been...
And now...
The Outrider and Dash, see... if you had the Outrider and Dash, I think I would have put the wild card at Kessel and moved everyone but Han Solo onto it, mm-hmm. and moved it over to Gaul and just said, fine, I'm drawing, you're adding 2 to your Battle Destiny, I'm adding 3 to mine.
And then eventually move Dash over. Oh, I don't...
Yeah,
add power destinies, but Dash could still reduce the power of the First Light.
Yeah, okay, I guess so. He's moving Dash. I don't know. I'm curious where Chris is going with this. So Chris, moving Luke in front of Kira, which makes sense. That was a reasonable play. That was what we expected.
I think Chris...
landing the skate. All right, so he's just not fighting over Gaul?
It's a drain of 1.
Yeah, but it's more...
You're not kicking him off the system, right? Because they're immune.
He'll just move away.
Yeah,
if you load the wild card, you are cracking that immunity. It's just
it takes 2 turns effectively to do it.
Yeah, it's more you force Brad to start moving around and stay in front of him with that. So and he leaves everybody in the skate.
Yeah, which
makes a ton of sense. There's no need to take anyone out of there where they can get shot with the blaster.
Yeah, but you can shoot the skate with the blaster.
You can't shoot it. This Crimson Dawn blaster doesn't target character of vehicles. The skate's a starship.
It doesn't be. It's not considered a vehicle on the ground.
No, it's still a starship.
All right, I'm still learning things.
It's not a transformer. It doesn't magically turn into a vehicle on the ground.
I mean, that'd be fun.
That would be.
Yeah. So we have 2 ping damage and 2 dead.
Yeah, because you don't need to. Yeah, because you've got.
And Ninum.
Ninub I like a lot in terms of new cards.
I look forward to buying one from Deep Red so I can add my watch. We have a drain of 1 at the first light, 1 at the docking bay that can control tunnel vision from use, and we're going to see a drain of 2.
And there's the pay 1 to control it. Yep. So we got Greg had to point out that the non-virtual AT-AT cannon can shoot a landed starfighter. And he is correct, but I don't feel like Brad's got those in this deck. So I'm not super concerned.
Somebody did put in the chat, I'm a little late, I just saw it in the chat, but I was going to say it, but there is a card that is a transformer and someone already. So let's come up with a different trivia.
So there's Django in front of Luke, who he'll add a Destiny, but like that's what Melas, frankly, that's what Melas and Mirax are there for. Like you don't need to take the skate back off at any point. You're fine with it sitting on the ground. And Lebo's text functions all the way around, so like you just okay. So there's a 5, which misses because of the because of Luke's +1 to defense value, so it doesn't even get there. It wouldn't have gotten there with the maul.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if I think Brad did know his destiny, so he thought that there must have been something in there with a chance because he didn't recirculate when he flipped. So
yeah.
See,
I don't know how he could have known his destinies though. He hasn't drawn anything.
I thought he didn't.
Or did he search? Yeah, he searched.
I thought he tried to search.
Okay, so Luke's targeting Django. There, that'll be a hit, because even if he draws a 0, it's +1. So there goes Django with the... Alright, so Brad plays Sacrifice to keep Django's forfeit alive. And there we see it grabbed with the grappling hook, which I think was...
the force out of the life now.
Yeah, I think that's just a... just stop him from being able to count that card. Like, Chris is just needs to win this game by attrition, basically. And he's going to buy on a can. What is he grabbing?
He could be trying to get back. Controller got stacked on useless gestures. So.
Yeah, unless he had another one in there. He's got an all wings combo, but you're not going to get any use out of that. I guess that's what he's grabbing. So maybe he is going to try and move in front of Zuckuss and Forlom and just sit on that all wings combo. But
no, he pitched the all wings combo to get their trackiness. So that's what he took.
Oh, okay. He grabbed the trackiness. Okay, and uses the trackiness to subtract 1 from the first battle destiny. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You lose Mirax and Melas, and you're fine with that. Oh, he did have a 6 in reserve. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I think he took the chance, because if he drew that, he hits a blue.
Yeah, and that would have been nuts. So, and
aggressive plays. He's going to lose the sight. Question mark?
Yeah, I still think he's going to. I mean, even if he had just drawn another 1, like I don't think you can leave Kira sitting alive against Luke plus guys.
No,
like again, he owes him 10. Chris owes him 10, so it's going to be Mirax and Melas. and you're okay with that. Like, that's all they're there for.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Brad's trying to figure out, I think you've got to sack the gun here. I can't imagine a reason not to.
Right. I mean, you're still going to owe the 1 attrition. So.
Yeah. You're losing Kira no matter what. You stack the gun, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and Chris, like I said, Mirex and Melas, just fine because Lebo will still ping. So is Brad going to move Aura and Dengar over?
I mean, in a 1-card hand, you got to assume that he has. I mean, we know Masterfuls are in the deck.
Yeah.
So.
But he's going to peel 1, 2, 3, 4 off the top, which would get to that Masterful. Because it was 2 to move, and then the gun, and then the Masterful. So he is moving. Now he's getting more. So now the Masterful is buried deep enough that it'll be the 6 on top as he moves the first light with Voss over in front of it, Tatooine.
Right.
That move I don't know that I love. If Chris has another smuggler in hand, this could be a bad spot for that first light.
I mean, agreed. But
so
you still, like, you lose
so Chris
that
loses his Hujigs. Yeah.
I mean, right now you're trying to save all that. I mean, you're not going to take overflow in theory. I mean,
yeah.
The first light's going to forfeit for 7. Dryden's going to forfeit for 6. So.
Yeah, you're probably not taking overflow, but you're giving up one of your spots of damage there.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
The ship. I mean, you're still getting brains for free. I mean, it's a force saving play.
I don't know. I think that's the point where you come after. So he loses Hondo, No Escape, and Sith Fury. And
Restraining Bolt.
Restraining Bolt. So he's definitely was floating 6s. There's a Lebo.
It's Shadow Collective. Of course you're floating 6s.
And there went the imbalance combo. So Chris is going to celebrate for 1.
Clock shouldn't be a factor. We're at 10 minutes left for Chris, over 34 for Brad, but I think this game's got 2 turns left at most.
Yeah, if Chris can't figure out a way to stabilize through this damage and get ahead of it, I don't think there's enough time left. Like, I think at this point, I think Chris loses a close game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Chris is probably okay with that because it gives him a chance to, you know, he can win the next game. You know, and if it's close enough, it's simply still a win in advance.
Yep.
Play. So we'll see. He's definitely thinking here, though. With 1 card in hand, like I said, if it's another smuggler, I think it'll blow up the first light, and then that could be bad. And actually, I wouldn't necessarily hate Luke standing right in front of Dengar and Aura still, and just daring him to do something.
I mean, running away is not going to be a good, viable option because he can't eat.
He can't eat that drain of 2. Mm-hmm. And he knows the 6 is sitting at the top.
Yep.
So, like, he's got to... And that might be what's scaring him with the first light battle, is with the 6 at the top, you know he's going to draw an 8. So basically anyone other than Wedge would end up with Chris losing both guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then losing Celebration. Which All right. I guess if he's got the moving to attack position now.
Which we know is one of the first cards he lost.
Yeah. So he'll move into attack position to give himself immunity. And just try and not overflow, but try and cause enough damage to take out.
Well, he's going to reduce it to 0.
Yep.
So it'll be 6
to 10 plus Destiny.
Yeah, and I think this Destiny is the 2. That's Corn. Okay.
Corn.
Yep.
Which is fine. So he's going to overflow him by 7. Dark time to subtract 1.
Well, I mean, it's still going to be the ship.
I'm actually a little surprised Chris didn't just grab Dark Time there. Unless he's figuring he needs to play something from Lost next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wasn't the 6. So the 6 is below that. So it's a 4. So it's 12 to 4. That's 8. So it's Voss and 2.
No, Voss should cover.
Or no, so he had 6 to cover. That's right. So.
Which, if you're Brad, I mean, you've only got 1 card in your hand.
It's more a matter of, Brad can't battle into the Outrider at this point. And that's potentially a problem for him. Does he have to just move away from the Outrider? Because I feel like this is where you take off the Pulsar Skate. Because you don't want to lose Lebo and that ping. Even if that ends up with you losing Luke, if you're losing Luke, it's because he's hit and forfeit 0 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to lose Lebo. So I think you need to... All right, wirfs just draws, so he's not taking off. wirfs is down to 7.5 minutes. Joker King compared to Brad's 33.5 minutes. wirfs is definitely gone in the tank on a couple plays here. Life force count, wirfs has got 7 and 4 for 11 total. Brad's got 13 and 1 for 14 total. So Brad is very slightly ahead. And Brad's getting his turn of damage through here. So he's getting 2 and then 1, 2, 1. Which is going to sting Chris a decent amount. Yeah, there's still... I don't think Chris runs out of time here.
No, I think Brad, depending upon how this battle... Well, he only saved 2, but he could recirculate.
Yeah. He will recirculate.
Yeah, he knows the one of those is a blaster.
Yeah, and Chris is going to be down to 4 or 5 cards down total. So Chris now with... Yeah, he'll have 4 down and 1 in hand, or... Yeah.
Yep.
That's... Chris will get a turn of drain of damage in here. Okay, there's Balatik on first light. So he did... Brad's 1 card in hand was a character. Mm-hmm. So losing Voss didn't really matter.
You pulled a gun, so you can forfeit Balatik and him.
Yeah. Because you can you'll flip and reshuffle, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I think you just battle at Tatooine, and wirfs will reduce it to power 0, but I'm assuming he'll crack the immunity. Or Brad expects to crack the immunity, which will kill Celebration.
And if you're worse, you just draw up, and you go into the next game down. Well,
I mean, he doesn't have any way to deal damage, Brad doesn't have any way to retrieve, and he has no cards in hand. So I think you just I don't think you draw up. I think you...
I mean, you pay to drain. I mean,
you pay to drain. You do your damage.
Well, you don't have to pay to drain because Luke's still on the table.
Yeah, you drain. You do your pings. You reduce it by a little bit. You know, because Brad's got 12 cards. He's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cuts him down to like 7. That's about as good as you can get.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like Brad stacks the gun here. Yep. So Brad will have 13 down. He'll lose some cards. So he's choosing to forfeit. Yeah, he's forfeit Bala to cover that power.
Mm-hmm.
That's partially why I would have liked to see the Pulsar Skate take off.
Yep, and here's the battle into
Luke.
So going to take the shot at Luke.
So now if he hits Luke here, that's about it. Because that would mean, I mean, at that point, I guess Chris still just pays 3 to drain for 2 and 1 ping. And
I mean, this isn't going to matter, I don't think, in the outcome, but if you knew you were going to take the line of battling into Luke, you should have saved your blaster manipulate, your maul +1 into this battle. It matters more.
Yeah.
You're subtracting 1 less. Because you were gonna pitch Valatique anyway.
Yeah.
So he misses. He's not gonna
Which, I mean, he would have missed the other way. He'd have missed anyways.
Yeah, I don't love this battle because Luke is going to clear this, and he's going to get more damage.
You're giving up a drain of 2 here.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically giving...
Oh, yeah, he would have hit if he had saved, because he would have been a total of 7, because he would have been 7 + 1. Yep, I forgot about the +1.
Yep.
So we see the swing and the hit from Luke. So now the thing is, with the Battle Destiny, you're going to give up a drain of 2 now, but you're going to kill Lebo in that 1 ping. So you're netting out a loss of 1.
I still I don't love the line.
Yeah, I think you'd have been better served.
Everything in the barrel to try and hit you, right? Like that.
Yeah.
It's minor. I mean, he's the #1 seed in the OC. He clearly knows what he's doing. But
yeah, I think you're right though. It could have been played better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there. So he is going to keep Lebo alive with you do have your moments cancel and redraw. That was big. That was a really good play by Chris.
Yep.
Then the 4 for Battle Destiny puts him at a 12. Actually, he's going to end up peeling 1, isn't he?
Yeah, because
Dengar forfeits for 4, so yeah, he's going to end up peeling 1 as well. That was a really good play by Chris. I don't think it's going to give him the game. I think Chris still loses this game in a real close manner, but that was a real solid play. Hyperspeed is 5. It's a freighter, so you could theoretically move the wild card. Just move the wild card and the Pulsar Skate over and just try and overpower First Light. I
mean, Brad's spreading now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is fine. I mean, the game's effectively going to go.
Yeah. Chris is going to be down to 4 cards.
Right.
And I don't think there's any way for him to stop all that damage.
He's going to get through a drain of 6. I mean, he's going to get 6 in next turn. Brad is at 9 down.
He's going to get 7 through next turn, it looks like. 3 at Kessel total. 3 at Mos Eisley total. And 1 at Corellia. So, he's going to bring Brad down to... So, 9... He's going to bring Brad down to, 5 cards. It'll be close. So, and actually... So, I mean, he could move Luke in front of Shizar would be... He's going to do a couple moves, I think, here. Depends on if Brad keeps any cards in hand. Because theoretically, if he moves Luke in front of Shizor and just saves those other 3 to play a control from Lost Pile to cancel the drain at 2, he stays alive for 1 more turn.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, no, because he's got to do something about the Tatooine drain. So he'd have to take off Lobot, which I definitely don't love. So
Brad is pitching from hand.
He's pitched 2 from hand and then lost the point man off reserve. So I think Brad's at least threatening I have something in hand I can use. So he loses 2 more off reserve.
Yannick and a Lawless Time, which we saw. The ping, this should be Gift Assist Fury.
Yep. And we'll see 1 more drain at Corellia.
Scan section.
So Brad's down to 4 cards in reserve.
I draw up.
I think so. Brad's not retrieving anything. I think you move Luke. I think you take off the Pulsar Skate, and then you use your 3 force to play your control from Lost Pile. That gives you 1 more turn of damage, and
that is what Brad.
You've got a chance.
Going to do. I mean, you're
going to. You can't get overflowed at Tatooine. You're going to lose 3 cards. You're going to lose 1 to You'll Be Dead. You're going to lose 1 to the drain at the bar, and you're going to lose 1 to the drain at Gaul.
Unless you move the Falcon over.
You can't afford to.
No.
You have to save 3 to pay for the control from Lost. So you're not going to get overflowed at Tatooine. You probably actually outpower. You don't outpower, but you can just lose the empty Outrider.
Yep. So timers may come into a factor on this one.
I mean, there's 3 minutes left. Okay, yeah. So Nick is pointing out, if you do the 2 1s first, then you can't afford the 3 for the control. And that might be it. Like that, that could be. I don't know if Chris has got another control in deck to potentially do anything, and that might be what Chris is mathing out as well. But like we just discussed, that Brad didn't necessarily play that Maul ideally, so it is possible he gets rowdy and drains for 2 first and then gives it all away. So we'll see. I mean, either way, Chris turned this into a very, very close game.
Yeah. Because originally, before the stream started, you and I were chatting. I thought it was going to be Thrawn versus Watch Your Step. So.
Yeah. I think we accurately put Chris on Watch Your Step, and if Brad put Chris on Watch Your Step and was only able to beat it by 4, that's solid. And actually, he's going to end up with more cards in Lost than Chris.
Yeah.
So moving the Falcon
over.
Okay, so he had the Masterful to get it back. So and Chris is just grabbing the Masterful. So he's saying, nope, you're gonna win by 4. So I will say, if you're going to move the Falcon, I think I would have preferred to move the Falcon in front of Zuckuss and Forlom. I would have definitely still taken off the Skate. Moving Luke in to block that. Well,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because now the You'll Be Dead ping is 2 instead of 1.
Yeah.
And you're still a force shy of doing anything.
Yeah, so it's going to be Brad.
So Brad's going to win by 4 with 36 in Lost. Wirfs is going to lose by 4 with 31 in Lost. And
I believe that we're signed up, and they are going to do.
I think they were going to do a second one right away.
Yep.
So, I guess now, in theory, if Chris had moved the Falcon to Gaul and just taken off with the skate, he would have still had one more force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could have ship docked and then landed as well. There's a couple things Chris could have done potentially. All right, so they're going to take a 5-minute break. That'll give us a second. We'll just leave this sitting up because it's nice to go on. So, watch your step was not a big surprise there for Chris. Chris wirfs has been playing that a lot, and he plays it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Collective, a little bit of surprise from Brad. Not a deck I've seen him play much. Yep, Joker King, they're going to do game 2. They just said 5-minute break.
Yeah.
In chat, so they're going to play game 2 right away. Shadow Collective, a little bit of a surprise.
I mean, Shadow Collective, if it has a decent space package, one would think is normally favored in this matchup. I've played it a bunch, and there are lines you can take. I think, I'm not criticizing anyone, but I think that there were a few things that, that battle at the end into Luke probably cost 5 in terms of just, the potential.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. If he doesn't, there was no reason to add with the maul in space.
Yeah.
So you save that for the ground battle, either to, try and guarantee you hit Luke or do something, because, yeah, that definitely cost him a few force right there that he didn't need to lose.
Thanks, Joker King.
That's
Joker King thinks we're a treat.
I mean, we really are a treat. Like, if you have to, listen to us, and, I've got a webcam working now, so people get to see my awesome pink hat my wife bought for me. And, I love... What?
I said, you've been frozen on my Zoom call, like, the entire time.
Well, then they're still seeing my awesome pink hat, but why is
They are seeing that.
Why am I I don't know why I'm frozen, and I'm...
Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to touch anything just in case.
The internet loves your face. You're fine.
Yeah, I don't want to destroy something by accident, so we'll stick with what I've got. At least it's not just blacked out. So, I mean, I always look good, Tony. Or Tommy, we know that. So, we'll see when they get to game 2. So, what are you thinking here for game 2? Like, so we're gonna have...
I mean, it's
Chris on Dark. Yeah, that would be my...
for the Dark Horse, non-V Rops 9. No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Rops.
No.
I'm not sure. Like, if it's not CCT, I don't know what Chris comes out with.
So go to the other side. Brad is known to playing Diplo, but he's thrown out a curveball. And so does he go back to Diplo, which he is, like, really good at, right?
Yeah.
And probably chose to go dark side first because he's thinking, I know what the matchup is, and Diplo's one that can retrieve a lot with Weathervane, with Celebration, with the objective. Maybe that calculus figured in and said, okay, now I know what number I need to get, right?
Yeah, like if you say, well, if I lose with Dark, I know what I need to win by, versus playing Diplo first and then putting himself in a position of just, well, I need to lose by less. That's a hard spot.
And if you're Chris, what are Diplo's natural enemies? I mean,
yeah. I mean,
IE can be tough, but, depends on the build of IE.
Gun can give it trouble, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, CCT can be a decent matchup. I know I've beaten Diplo before playing CCT, You know, it was a while ago, back when CCT was a somewhat more popular deck, but like it's because at that point you're basically both throwing just never-ending wimpy characters at each other.
I mean, let's open it up to the chat if you're in there. What are your predictions for games? Gary and I don't know what they're playing, so we're just spitballing ideas.
Yeah, we're just filling time. Like if you guys in chat want to say something, so yeah. Oh, Brad plays Diplo. I mean, Joker King, you're 100% right. Brad plays Diplo better than anybody else.
The court could be something.
I mean,
the almost curveball. Like I'm not gonna play CCT. Haha. I'm gonna play court.
Yeah, I mean anything that can drop a ship first turn can give Diplo trouble.
Yeah, I mean Thrawn could be an option, but I mean I've not seen where play Thrawn. I don't know if that's up. We're getting started.
And they are started. So the thing with you say Thrawn, like I feel like that's such a known possibility. Why is this doing? There we go. Okay. ISB versus AnakinSaga. So Bill apparently has us muted and is just watching us, which confuses me even more than anything else. Like, but so we see wirfs with the ISB slip sliding, starting Shizor's Palace, and Imperial Enforcement, Arrest Order Mob points. I feel like this is some sort of trooper build, maybe even something real spicy like troopers and guns. Like, I don't know what he's got going on with it.
It's going to be interesting.
And just straight saga.
I mean, the saga, depending upon the build, it could be like the one that Drew played in San Diego that's very much draw their fire. I'm going to retreat 2 to 3 every battle because they keep coming at you with Ray. Not taking overflow because I have really high forfeit people. So it could be interesting.
I mean, I feel like that deck would struggle against an ISB that just sticks a bunch of guys in walkers and says okay.
Depending on the build of ISB, because you've seen some like what Kessling was playing at Euros, and I think Fred and Matt Scott played at Worlds, which is more like Deidre, Tarkin, Garrison, Troopers, like just the more troopers. So really relying on Dark Collaboration, V, and a few other cards to just say, I'm just going to put in a huge battle at you.
So. And that's not necessarily great for Saga.
Right, and that's why I think Brad is going to have to. I mean, he's got a +4 advantage, so he's probably going to play pretty tight. I expect to see no battles in space, depending upon the build. But this is the, played all of the season where, Coruscant is going to be where it's at and plays Cardia. So activation is out for wirfs.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is that gives Brad a bunch of activation too. Like Brad's going to start with 10 on his turn 1. Like that's a. And Chris just going straight into draw phase and point manning for a card. I think Chris is also looking at this and going, I only lost by 4. Like all I need to do is win.
Yeah, and if I'm Chris, I want Brad to make the first move.
Yeah, definitely. This is a more reactive. So point man to grab something, and then masterful move to go fetch the Gick.
I would treat this almost like a mains matchup where you set it up and force the other one to blink first.
Yeah, I think if wirfs were to come, I mean, wirfs only has 6 cards in hand because he basically just got his activation going.
So grappling hook out from Brad.
Which wirfs probably is running a couple barriers, but like. not super impactful, really more just a grab something. Polis Massa coming out, which might be important. Like, it's going to give Brad a battleground system.
Draw their fire. In fact, I mean,
I don't love that deploy.
I don't play draw their fire until I want to use it, but
yeah, I don't like. I know the deck runs draw their fire. You expect. You know, if I'm Chris, I'm not surprised to see draw their fire come out. I would be playing around expecting Brad to have it.
Looks like Brad missed all of his quick pullers, so
yep.
he threw up, and now is going to play. Now this is pod racing to go get the nightclub, which tells me he probably drew into the HUD.
Yeah, I mean, he had to know it because he went and grabbed with Polis Mesa, so that's... Yeah, the first matchup, if you guys missed it, it'll be on YouTube soon enough, and was a very solid matchup. I mean, it was very fun to watch the game, very fun to be able to talk about it a little bit. Brad winning by 4 was a real close. So Chris literally activates and draws. All right.
Here, I'll be back in just 1 second.
All right. So we lost Carl for a minute because, apparently he's got better things to do. So he'll be back in a second, I'm sure.
I got to go walk my dog. He's like sitting there pawing.
Whatever, sure. Make your excuses. So Brad plays Might of the Republic to go grab Leia Organa. I love Leia Organa in this deck. I love that card. Wirfs just drew a bunch and is now sitting on a 14-card hand, and he'll have 20 force next turn. Like, with Draw Their Fire out, he's just saying, fine, I'm going to deploy anything. I'm going to deploy a whole bunch of things at once and tell you to come try it. There's the Skywalker Hut that Brad drew into. He's going to use that to go get 3PO or Shmi. It could be Shmi. I feel like Carl wouldn't really be shy about telling us he was refilling his vodka. Like that doesn't seem like a Carl thing to do, to be, circumspect about it. And a Sando Aqua Monster coming down along with I don't like sand. So Brad's just playing all the Chris jumped in the line. I don't believe anyone's played either of the new objectives in the OCS yet, Catwall. I think only one set of games is gone. I think Tom and Gavin played. I'm not sure what else happened. It was Sando just to prevent things from being canceled. Like, it gives you an uncancelable destiny. So if you're drawing more than one, it helps you get around sand. It does stuff. 2 ships hitting on that Sando was interesting, especially with Honshu and the Falcon V being one of them, which meant he wasn't going to get it with Best Star Pilot. I'm not entirely sure what Brad's doing with this deck. So Brad also draws up to 14 and saves a whole pile of force. Like, I don't know what I'm waiting for here. So there's Mara in the Decimator at Polis Mesa. I'm sure we'll see a pilot on board it. Maybe. Like, I can't imagine not. It's just Chris deciding which pilot. There's Lieutenant Pol Tridium, who is a pilot, apparently. Oh, yes, he is. When deployed, you can draw the top card of reserve deck or used, and subtracts from the attrition there, which is good. Well, and you can't grab it with Best Star Pilot, because that only deploys an unpiloted. I think he's trying to draw him into wherever he wants him to go. Like, if you go to Kurita, you can't go, you're not moving to Polis.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting ships on both sides. Joker King's just asking in chat a little bit, like, why would you go to Polis instead of Kurita?
I think this tells me Brad's probably playing more than one ship.
Yeah. I'm sure Chris is also playing more than one ship, and I think Chris is just trying to get him to do something. As there's Major Partagas. I don't even remember what he does. When may shuffle a reserve deck, ISB leaders at the same site. Our power and defense. Okay, so he's just a ability for Yuts. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, and Chris Kelly points out that maybe this is indicating that WYRFs is playing hyperwave scan. Because if he did, it'd be a drain at 2. But without it, already it's probably better. But
I think Chris has more than one ship, and he's just saying he's got to deploy somewhere. He can't get beaten down in space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no way you get overflowed in space. So you're safe putting him there. If he if he goes hard to pull this Mesa with 2 ships sitting on sand right now, then you just find, okay, well, you devoted everything to Polis. Now I'm going to throw my other ship to Kurita, and neither of us are going to pay to drain. Yeah, I mean, Hyperwave Scan is probably, even with IAO, I think you put in Hyperwave Scan at times. Like, it costs you some forfeit bonus, but it's not the end of the world.
I mean, but if you're Chris and you're thinking about this matchup and you are expecting Brad to play Diplo, I don't think Hyperwave Scan's a card that changes the math that much.
No. So. Because you're not actually crushed to be losing your ISB agents just to get them back. Like, that's if the random spots where you may end up, if you have scan out, you're losing 2 instead of 1, but they can't mess with your drain if you're able to hold that location, is pretty good. So Brad's got a whole pile of force to play with too, like going with Force Master Yoda down to the uplink station. And Ray's going to grab him a card. I kind of feel like this might have been both of them.
Although Joker King just said I was wrong, but in the context of, Diplo, Hyperwave Scan is a good card. So listen to Joker King. He's smarter than you.
Yeah. No, I think Hyperwave Scan's a fine card to include in this deck no matter what. I'm wondering if this is a matter of both of these players teched for the deck we didn't end up seeing. I mean, because Saga is great against CCT.
Mm-hmm.
And ISB, I actually think, is very good against Diplo. Like, you just go, all right, well, I'm going to hold 1 Tatooine location, and you drain for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, this almost feels like they both appropriately teched for the deck they weren't going to face, and they both said, well, they're going to tech for me to play this, so, all right, so we say battle plan.
The 40 chess worked out, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
So Chris is again going to have 19 force and 15 in hand.
And Brad left 13.
Well, Brad didn't want to draw anything. Chris had enough force saved and would have just dropped drop and paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Night Club has been pitched.
You mean uncombo mode points? I believe he grabbed Kurita. Grabbing Kurita was his first action.
Yep.
So, I mean, here, I'll go back and check, but I believe it was his first action. Yeah, he grabbed mode points.
Yep.
Yep. So, and Brad loses the nightclub from hand, which seems reasonable.
Paying 3 to drain for 1 always feels really, really unsatisfying.
Yeah, and I wonder if Chris is going to dump a bunch of guys at one of the other Coruscant spots and just flip himself and say, fine, you drain for 1.
Right. I mean, it's interesting that Anakin Saber didn't come out. I don't know if this came up. He must have. Oh, in Dark Lord. He's in training for 0.
Well, he's got to put guys down first. Like right now, it's still a drain of 1.
Right. Which, again, this is I want you to blank first.
Yeah. So, like honestly, I wouldn't. If Chris had his other space, I almost wouldn't hate throwing a ship and a couple dudes at Karita to get you flipped and say okay. Like
the first turn, I think Brad or Chris open-handed 2 of the Coruscant location, or at least
he open-handed one. Yeah, he open-handed the one.
He did the pull to get the other one.
Pulled one, open-handed one. He had the open-hand, or he Karita at the start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just dumped a bunch of cards, drew a couple, and said go. And then his second turn, he activated and went straight to draw.
Yeah.
And Brad's kind of doing the same thing. Like Chris is absolutely playing this ultra conservative, which I don't hate, and especially with ISB. But like at the same time, Chris is already 5 minutes behind on the clock.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Joker King asked with two ships on sand, how many ships do you think? I mean, if you're playing Honshu and Falcon in this scenario, I imagine if you're playing Best Starfighter, there could be a Luke and Red 5.
Yeah, it's Luke and Red 5, or you're going with Anakin and Azure Angel, but that seems like an odd.
In an AnakinSaga deck, I pass.
Yeah, like that would be a really weird play, but you never know. I mean,
and there's the flip.
There's the flip with Isard, Palpatine, and the Stormtrooper garrison.
Palpatine is on the table.
So right now, Brad gets 2 drain for nothing. But he does have a million force. I mean, Brad could have 27 force and 14 cards in hand. Like, something's going to happen here. I'm almost wondering if that's like all of Brad's space fleet. Like if maybe there's one more Leia's transport.
Joker King said, I'm scared for worse this turn.
I'm a little bit, but I mean, what's the worst he could throw at him? Would be like
Anakin that's going to draw 2 destinies, Screaming Lando.
Yeah.
Because I mean, typically in this build, General Leia is another one.
Yeah, that's
5. That's telling me a swing and a couple destinies.
Life Force Dan is a bunch to a bunch. It's 28. Each of them have 28 cards down and 13 cards in hand. It's I mean the Anakin but even Anakin Clash Dark Strike, like wirfs is sitting on a Gick. wirfs went and got that Gick on turn 1.
Yeah. And so we see Anakin come down with his saber.
Yep, and there's Secret Plans, which is again like just 1 card in the lost pile. So yeah, I mean
Lando.
And turn it off to shut down Lando. I like it.
I recently got in a debate with somebody about why you play this over Cold Feet, and it's really just because of how prevalent Screaming Lando is in every deck.
Yeah, I don't hate that, and actually Brad's grabbing turn it off.
Which tells me if he's playing like one of the builds that's up to 3 Screaming Lando.
It could very well be running that, and that would not surprise me at all. And there's Ahsoka Tano. Like, so Brad's just saying, all right, I'm going to go take this spot. And I don't hate that idea. But
I mean, I assume with 3PO out, Brad's been circulating around. He knows he didn't have to verify what his reserve deck. So he's tracked around at least a couple of good estimates, I would assume.
Yeah. So, but turn it off excludes Scoundrel Lando, so now...
I mean, I imagine that Anakin's going to hit the Emperor.
Yeah.
Just like not the movie.
Yep.
Because here's a 5.
And basically in anything hits the Emperor at this point. And a 6, I think he got him. Just by a smidge, but he did get him. So now, Clash or Sorry doesn't make that much.
It doesn't change the math here. I'd rather save that card.
Yeah, you're going to clear no matter what.
Right, and what do you lose? Ahsoka? EPP? Fine.
Yeah, you lose Ahsoka, and you're like, all right, that's fine. You're going to make Chris pay to drain.
Right, there's no threat of, Dark Collaboration or anything like that. There's no way they're adding, so...
Yeah, not right now.
No.
But at the same point, Chris is now going to have... He's got 11 cards in hand, and he's going to have 16 force to work with. He can potentially do something here. And I'm actually wondering if Brad had to take the card off sand there just to have some sort of space.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't shock me at all if that was 2 of his 3 space cards. He might have just been running 2 copies of Leia's Transport and 1 or 2 Hans.
Yeah.
And really just using Star Pilot to get Polis Mesa and...
So he draws a 5 for Battle Destiny, which might in the public, interesting card.
He used that early to go grab Leia Organa V.
Okay.
So, and I'm a big fan of that Leia, so I like that. So yeah, he loses Ahsoka, which he's fine with. Brad's going to lose everything, but 2 of them are ISB agents who he can just get back.
Right.
And
Brad's going to retrieve Ahsoka.
Brad's going to retrieve Ahsoka.
I mean, the epic event.
Yep. So... Yeah. So we see the 3PO. Yeah, I mean, committing Anakin Saber, dumping everybody at the sewer is not a bad spot here. You can't get Neighbor and Don 2. You know where the Saber is. You just play the waiting game now. So, wirfs went straight to deploy, so he's not draining either here. 11 cards in hand, 15 force. He's got to have options. It's just, what's he going to do with them? I think you have to go at Coruscant. I don't think you can just ignore Coruscant. That's be a drain of 1 and 2. You got to do something with it. It's just a question of what. wirfs deep into the think tank again here, though.
I mean, that's pretty standard. I mean, he likes to map. He's pretty methodical when it comes to those things.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a slow and steady wins the race kind of player. He doesn't want to race through his turns and make a mistake. He doesn't want to do, 7 reverts like he did at the start of the Watch Your Step game a second time. So Joker King in chat wondering if wirfs has Veers plus a Walker. I mean, that wouldn't be terrible, but to do what? Go take down Yoda and the site that if you just put him somewhere else, he can't drain that anyways. So I think Chris has just got to figure out where he wants to go with things. Okay. I'm wondering if he's got Dark Collaboration already.
I mean, you have to think in a 10-part hand.
And because that'd be the only reason to throw them in front of Rey and Yoda, I think. Because if you just throw them at the next site over, you're like, okay, well, you just can't drain there. I don't care. Another Stormtrooper patrol, so they are heavily patrolling in there. Brad using Ray, probably, because I think he figures that'll be the last spot to use Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Although Chris didn't put down any other leaders, so I don't think he can Dark Collab this turn.
No.
So, like that.
But it makes me wonder if maybe he has Wolf who will let him know.
Or a Trooper Assault. So this way he's retrieving that Emperor, which is good for him.
I mean, Trooper Assault would be nice, but Tarkin can still do his thing.
Yeah. So, and that's just it. The Tarkin will cancel the Destiny. Okay, so Brad going with careful planning to activate because he wasn't activating enough.
I mean, who doesn't want to put a stick back?
I think that's just it. Is it cycles him a 5 and activates 5, and that's fine. Like, there's Sergeant Wallen, who deploys free when initiated.
I mean, I gotta give Chris props. He's playing a deck that plays the best, card in the game.
Sergeant Wallen?
Sergeant Tarl, but I mean Sergeant Carl.
Okay, so Sando putting the 1 on Sando just to avoid it being Tarkined.
Yeah, and that's interesting though because it's Luke Rebellion Hope, which tells me he is probably playing
Red 5.
R2 and Red 5, R2 and Red 5 or Red. I'm sorry, Red 5. That's the only one to be pulled.
Yeah.
Which if you put that down in HCF at Polis Moss next turn, that could be fun.
Yeah, I mean you could get R2 and Red 5 with as well. So Brad did not use Sando. He didn't use the 1 off Sando, so he just had his Destiny canceled and loses Ray and Yoda. All right. I don't hate Chris knocking those guys off the table. I'm still not sure he couldn't. It wouldn't have been just as effective to throw everybody at the sewer and just say, fine, Ray and Yoda are committed, because now you run the risk of a second Leia's Resistance transport coming down and pulling Ray and jumping Mara.
Yeah, I mean, counterplay, I think. I mean, it's a line. It clears off a point of damage, gives him a much easier showcase.
Well, there was no damage coming because it would have been a drain of 0 there.
Well, Brad's now, paying 3 to drain 1.
Yeah. Which is...
worst top decks in Garrison.
Which is fine. Like, so there's Ahsoka Tano.
Which is Brad tracks around. Leia Organa V.
Yep, who's going to add a Destiny to attrition. So this is where I think a Trooper Assault would be really big.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Ahsoka is going to swing. Ahsoka can swing it too, can't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, although they have decent, it's hit 2 of them. They're an 8, so that's not easy. And there's HCF going to Karita.
Mm-hmm.
So we're retrieving Yoda.
Losing that second Tarkin.
I would bet there's 3 in the deck.
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah, you get it back. So there's the Trooper Assault. So, and there's the other grabber using it on the grappling hook. But it means, especially with Tarkin's going to cancel a weapon destiny if Ahsoka swings.
Right. So if she swings at Tarkin,
I think she has to swing at just Tarkin. So, I don't love...
She's going after...
I don't love that play.
I just cancel one of them and say...
Yeah, because you got to swing...
Tarkin's on him.
That's fine, but then all you're losing is Tarkin.
Yeah, but if I say...
I would rather lose just Tarkin and leave the 3 stormtroopers there against whoever he's coming after me with. I'm fine with losing just Tarkin. You're massively up in power.
Although since she swung at both.
And Leia can add... Well, Leia adds to power.
The defense is 4...
6, I think.
6. Yeah, so he got him.
Okay. So, but he could have... I'm surprised he didn't cancel the 5.
I mean, if you lose one target... I mean, Tarkin's so critical in this matchup.
Yeah, but... I don't know. I guess that way you're just killing him to the... They still get their forfeit. Yeah, that was what I was thinking, Edward. I'm still surprised he didn't cancel that swing. So Leia adds to attrition, so now he's going to have to Sando the 1. Or, okay, he sands instead to just make sure the Destiny can't be canceled.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this goes into another reason of why you should have canceled, because you knew that there was a way around this.
Yeah, that's why you cancel that Weapon Destiny and just go, fine, whatever he does, I'm going to lose Tarkin. You're going to retrieve him with Empire's Sinister Agents.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make him do something. There's your Sergeant Tarl. You're going to make Brad do something, because he can't just leave just one of them sitting alone. So, and there he cancels the Destiny to attrition with Tarkin. So I think the troopers will still end up covering it.
Yeah, because they didn't lose their attrition.
Yep, so there's the AJR. So Jedi's Resilience, which Chris did not have a force to grab. So, and Brad ends up losing the site and just costing Chris 2 ISB agents, who he's just going to replace.
I'm going to go with Joker King on this, that I think it's fine. I mean...
I think it worked fine for Chris, yeah. I think it was...
But I mean, it plays into the Anakin of, I'm just going to continue to beat and beat and beat, which makes me usually might grab this game, and I don't know that it's right. I think the AJR is the card that they continue to focus on. So that's usually one that I try to get.
Yeah, he didn't have a force to grab it, and that hurt him.
Yeah.
So, but he is going to, drain for 3 here compared to Brad's only going to drain for 2, and he's going to retrieve an ISB agent this turn as well, and now Sand is done. So Tarkin is suddenly much stronger. There went a couple speaks because he definitely doesn't want to put the Jedi Council chamber out on Coruscant.
No, that is
there went Wedge in red 1 from hand. There's a lot of space in Brad's deck that I did not necessarily expect to see. So I expect wirfs is just going to reinforce Tarkin here. Like, we're just going to see guys get deployed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the spaceport docking bay at Kurita. Okay, so he's all in on just, you drain me for nothing.
Which, I mean, if your wirfs is smart...
Yeah, I mean, he can come down with another Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to be... At some point, he's going to be running out of Ahsokas. And, like, Ahsoka doesn't fuel your saga. Like, that's the thing, is wirfs has Anakin stuck. So, yeah, Edward, we already knew there was Red 5 because it's Luke Rebellion's Hope is what's stacked on the Sando Aqua monster. So Red 5 and cannons doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, so Joker King saying he doesn't love wirfs going wide. I don't know. I don't love it because, yeah, he's going to keep getting pinged with Ahsoka.
He hasn't gone wide yet. All he did was deploy the document. So I imagine he's going to reinforce Tarkin just to give himself options for later. Like, he's going to use the drain at cardio talk.
Yeah, a drain of 1 isn't a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing, is if you reinforce Tarkin, you drop a couple more guys there. Like, he can't come down with just Ahsoka. And so, yeah, I don't hate that. I think they both, if he's not going to the docking bay this turn, I don't love the play. but that puts them both in they've played cards differently than I love, because I definitely didn't love the throwing down, draw their fire without a plan to use it, because he's definitely given up a couple force to it. Or I think he's given up one. We've started the one battle.
Opened up enough AI booster packs because we have a non-AI Darth Vader, Emperor's Enforcer coming down. That's a joke. I'm sure he has plenty of them.
Wirfs just like seeing the C-slips.
I mean, I'm GAMP. Who doesn't?
C-slips are just C-slips are the prettiest cards out there. I mean, I know Chris Kelly's going to disagree with me, but C-slips are the way to go, I think.
Yeah. So Joker King points out that Tarkin's text isn't online yet because he has to be with
2 ISB agents.
And Enforcer doesn't count.
And Chris leaves himself 2 force. I don't think there are any ISB agents that react just for 2.
The patrol is 3.
Yeah, and I think the patrol's really the only one. I mean, he doesn't have a comm link or anything crazy like that. So
JNAP is splitting his time between watching this game and watching the Phillies, so this is good.
Chris,
Eric points out that, yes, I do think it is silly that light side has 3 locations and they're activating more than dark side as well. So we have a drain of 1 at Sheever's Palace with Point Man coming off the reserve deck, and Emperor Palpatine
off reserve. Like, that's just Chris is saying. Chris likes his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the dark side, just everything they put out is a 2-1 location. Like, the only non-battleground dark side has put out there is the 1-0 Death Star 2 docking bay, and the other one is a 1-1.
And zombie Ahsoka.
There's Ahsoka, but and there's Luke. He's got does he have a gun or something for Luke?
No, he just wants to retrieve 2.
Yeah, I guess. That's all right.
But I mean,
yeah, so he'll, pay 1, retrieve 1, pay 1, retrieve 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tempest Scout 1 from reserve deck.
Yeah. Which I love that walker. It's so good with Arnett. There's careful planning to stack a 5.
And activate even more.
And activate 3, which is fine. It'll just allow him to refill his hand.
Yeah.
So that's... So Ahsoka swinging at Tarkin makes sense because, yeah, Tarkin can't cancel right now.
Mm-hmm. Draws a 4. And a 4.
And a 4. So he gets him. She gets him. He's...
Got him.
Got him. And then probably just a straight Battle Destiny. Force is strong with this one to add 1. Nice. All right. I like that. That seems like a real good card in here with all the Padawans.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, it's activated with all the Skywalkers, with Ahsoka and Anakin. Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody but Yoda and Lando so far that we've seen hit the table. It's activated with.
4. And a 1.
Well, he'll take that into hand, yeah. So, really, I think Brad's just hoping to draw. That 2 is not what he wanted. So 6 means the Stormtrooper Patrol stays alive. And he gets to drain for free, and theoretically, you know, he's got that guy to reinforce.
Yep. And I assume this is just going to be Luke. Yep.
Yep.
The forfeit -2, so he was able to keep his leader on the table.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yep. Because
yeah, I forgot about Tarkin. I'm just used to guys with lightsabers causing forfeit 0. The forfeit -2 stuff throws me. So he's using that force and moving Lando over with it. So Lando seems not the least bit valuable there.
7 forfeit.
Yeah, that's all he's going to be. I mean, he's power and he's 7 forfeit, I guess. Like,
he's a meat shield. It's fine.
Yeah. He says, fine, I'll lose something. So we see the masterful move. Going to grab something. Oh, sets. All right.
Be a terrible time to draw one of those 6.
Yeah. And Chris thinking about grabbing that sense. I don't think I'd like that play. Oh, there's a 5, which is equally bad.
Yeah.
Like, so sense fails.
Me and drawing the exact number to fail a sense is, sore subject.
And wirfs really just wanted to cycle back that 5 to.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't activate to it, but he can get close to it.
Right. I mean, increase the odds of when you go look with Imperial Rest Order for a docking day, that's not going to be in there.
Yeah. Well, so he's got pole, but theoretically, if he's got like Yularen, he can draw a few.
Mm-hmm.
He can draw off reserve and get there. Like, I feel like this is a turn he's just going to dump.
9 cards in his hand. We'll see.
Theoretically, is a either dump guys on top of or drop 1 or 2 at the swamp and a couple at the docking bay and Karita, and now you spread that Ahsoka's out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's he gonna start coming after you with? Just Luke? There's a force push.
He's got, he's got to have more Leias, I would think. Padme is still available.
So,
and
I don't know what was in Chris's hand, but I almost wish he would have saved that force push, because he'd already canceled Lando's text. So then if you just drop a bunch of guys, battle, first action, force push Vader and Ahsoka out of the battle, you can actually potentially pound Lando decently.
True.
Like, I would not have hated to see that.
I mean, you assume Brad's got to be. I mean, you're right. Put him on it, right?
Yeah.
I think I've heard you say this line. Force him to have the Hoojik.
Yeah, and Joker King saying I was right, so I'm taking that as a positive. Like, yeah, that would have been the.
Because you get a point of damage from draw their fire. It's a net benefit for you because you can then retrieve the patrol that you lost.
Yeah, and again, like you were saying, and I've said before, and I'm not the only person. You force him to have it. Brad's got 6 cards in hand. Like, he probably has a Hoojix if he's playing it.
Here's Callus.
He might not be playing it, and there's Callus who will get him a card off the top. So, but like I like the force him to do something with it.
He found another Tarkin, which is the one he retrieved 2 turns ago. Yep. So here comes Tarkin.
Yeah. See, like all of a sudden here, Callus plus Tarkin, and a Dark Collaboration or something taking on just Lando, suddenly becomes a real gross situation if Brad doesn't have a Hoojix or Brad isn't running Hoojix.
Right. I mean, and if you're Chris, all of that can still be true with this next battle. I mean,
there's Corporal Vandaloy. I don't remember what he does. Okay, when deployed, may take an ISB agent into hand. You're not going to do that once per turn. If you just drew an ISB agent, take that card into hand to cancel and redraw. Okay, so.
I mean, that's another way to get down to that 5 that we know is there.
Because, now he can just take that Asard into hand.
Yep.
Like, that would be solid. So there's another.
Let's go.
Yeah, like this is I don't know.
And here comes eye roll, so he's going to
especially with wirfs having all those guys. Like, there's no way he just grabbed the one linchpin out of that. Like, I guess if Callus was the one he had to get with the force push, maybe, because Callus is the one that got him the Tarkin.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at that and you go, all right, he would have been taking on Lando at power 6, forfeit 7 against 14 plus 2 to 3 Destiny. Like, I'd have taken that battle.
All right, so Tarkin and Callus.
I don't like that play.
Well, you know the 5 was there.
Yeah, but you know Tarkin's just going to cancel if you hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't love that.
Yeah, because then at most, the only thing you're losing is Mandalay.
Yeah. You're losing one random dude who you're retrieving, or you're not retrieving this turn because you're saying, fine, I'll lose.
Cancel this.
Yep. You know. And then you're just saying, fine, I'll lose Tarkin. Tarkin cannot cancel Sando. Sando is not a Destiny draw. It's a replacement. So there's Force is Strong with this one to add one, which is fine. You know, like, you still have a pile of forfeit there. Like, even if you lose 2 guys, you're not...
I mean, you lose the 2 Biker Scouts.
All
right, so...
No, Sando plus would not have hit. Sando, the 5 plus Sando would have been a 6, which would have tied.
Yep. So
Vandaloy's taking Yularen into hand.
Yep.
So there's a 5, which is good.
Now the Force that he paid.
And the 4.
Rupert Sabak.
What? All right. I'm okay. See, but like, again, so now we'll see if Brad has the Hujix. So there's a 2. That actually stinks.
Yeah, and the next one should
I think this is a 4, isn't it? Yeah, so it's Vandaloy.
Yeah.
So it's 16 to 34. So this is, if Brad has the Gick here, he's going to play it. Because, no, he's not, because 14 is the forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I mean, it's still 4. I mean, he's
all right. So wirfs loses Tarkin instead of Vandaloy. Oh yeah, he does. So he did not have the Gick because he did peel 4 force before losing those 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so
he lost. They're tracking us. We're at 5 now. This is pod racing and a blaster deflection before pitching Lando before forfeiting Ahsoka. Then.
Yeah. And he retrieves the Tarkin he lost.
Mm-hmm.
He must have another one in hand.
So it's
because otherwise there's
now.
What?
Everyone's at 22 down and 4 in hand, but we're moving on to Brad's turn.
Yeah. Oh. They're tied in total life force right now, but wirfs is threatening more damage. Wirfs is like, I see your sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he saw it too.
That's the right play. It's that was smart. I mean, Brad's only got 4 cards in hand. There's no way he's coming at that pile of dudes at Coruscant.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. But I think I would have still liked to see Vandaloy instead of Tarkin. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere with Tarkin. Kind of want to see what Brad does here. I mean, he just lost the red 5. He doesn't appear to be really inclined to go after Mara in ship. And wirfs just lost a Emperor's shuttle. Brad's popping, using Walkling to grab scanner text. Don't hate that play. Like, that's a solid card to just, so he's dropping it at the uplink station to turn that drain from a drain of 1 into a drain of 2. Or actually, it'll be a drain of 3 because it ignores both of the force drain minuses. But if wirfs spreads to the docking bay, he can just drop resistance and it becomes a drain of 2. And Brad's just picking some up. He placed Walkling out of play to get back Scoundrel Lando.
Mm-hmm.
And just drawing a few. Like, okay. Let's see where this goes.
Well, Garrett, while we have a breaking action, you said we have like an AI pack we can give away, right?
We do. Why? You got a...
I got a trivia question because Red 5 came up, and I was curious how many characters or how many cards can be considered a matching pilot for Red
5? Ooh, good call.
In the chat, if you want to go ahead and drop how many...
First person in the chat. I'm not actually sure. I'm mentally trying to math it out in my head, too. So you got...
All right, so we have a drain of 2 at the upload station.
All right, so I think I have the answer for your question, or I'm mentally mathing, but I might have forgotten one somewhere. So
I still haven't seen an answer in the chat, have you?
Yeah, I haven't seen an answer come up in chat. And so the question was for an AI. Okay, so Chris dropping 14, Tommy with 8. One requires Ellers, so 13. So you're the one who put this together, so you would know the answer, because I just did a quick count in my head.
So the answer is 13 based off my count. Because I don't think Scomplink has been updated in one of them.
So Chris is saying it'd be 14 because one would need an Ellers. So do we have a non-pilot Luke?
So Scomplink has Commander Luke V, Luke Skywalker V, Luke Jedi Knight, Luke Rebel Scout V, Rebellion's Hope, okay. Luke with lightsaber, Master Luke, Son of Skywalker, Master Luke V isn't on there, the brand new one isn't on there, and Taco Bill. So actually I think Chris is right at 14.
Okay.
So Chris, nice job.
All right, as we see, wirfs throwing down Yularen and a Stormtrooper garrison on top of Anakin, which I think is a solid play. Like you're at this point, you just want to kill that Anakin to. Yep. You don't want that. You don't want to eat that drain of 3.
No, and you turn off and force Brad to have to redeploy and recommit.
Yeah, and it forces him to pay for that drain. So he's just moving over.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
he's just moving.
One that I was talking about back there when I said Taco Bill. So that was the other persona of Luke.
So he's just moving everybody over. All right. I guess that way you turn off scanner attacks. Like, it'd be an ugly battle. Anakin battling into that seems like a poor idea right now. And if he moves away, scanner text isn't protecting that drain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
A full-scale alert definitely could come into play here. I mean, he's got three Stormtroopers on table, yeah.
And with Brad drawing such a big hand last turn, there's not going to be a lot. that's going to be available for him to come down with and swing and draw, Destiny. So, and
Yeah.
we'll see.
So Brad's just cycling some cards as well, though. He just Might of the Republic for nothing and a Hear Me Baby to stack a couple 5s that'll turn into 6s with Anakin. So, because Chris doesn't really have a lot of cards left in hand. There's an ultimatum. That's just a nothing shield. I'm like, I don't see any drains bigger than 2, but that was just a free shield anyways. And Brad playing another 5 to just get those 5s down. Like, I gotta imagine we're probably looking at another Ahsoka with lightsaber coming down somewhere. Something. I'm not sure what else he's going to be coming out here with. Like, I think wirfs is perfectly fine saying, okay, I'll just block you from that scanner text protected drain. And
I mean, Brad, activated everything. So unless you got something to cheer at play.
Yeah, you can't full scale alert because that costs 2.
Mm-hmm.
So wirfs loses the Trooper Sabak from used pile. That would have been a...
So, fun fact, I've never actually played a game of Sabak.
I actually played one at Worlds in the Constellation Tournament. VZ.
I mean, I'm such a baby when it comes to this game.
VZ played it against me when I was playing Hitco and ran into my 7-4 combo for the perfect 11. Make him lose both his cards. It's great for just screwing up Destiny and activation. Like, if Chris had that in hand, you just wait till you let Brad activate all but 2, and then you're like, all right, here's a Sabak. Although in this case, Brad's 2 would have been a total of 10.
So Brad's drawing more cards. He's up to 14. He, deployed Yoda to the docking bay and moved Anakin over.
And Anakin does nothing there.
Well, it's a drain of 1.
It's a drain of 0.
0, but then it'll add 1.
No, it'll be -2 from Image of the Dark Lord because Vader
controls
next door.
Right?
Yep, so it's -2 from that, and then -1 from ISB. So it's a drain of 3 that turns into a drain of 0. Like, he's perfectly happy to let Anakin sit there, although he doesn't necessarily want Anakin moving all the way to the thing. I think Yoda to the docking bay there actually was a good play because you make it so you can't... I don't believe Sabak is used in any tournament tiebreakers anymore. Like, I like Yoda there because it stops Chris from just dropping a couple guys there.
Yep.
So, but...
I mean, you've got to think, wirfs can't have... I mean, you've got Isard floating around...
I mean, he's got Isard, he's got a Tarkin.
I'm trying to think of the other. He's got Sergeant Farrell, which we haven't seen.
Yularen's in hand. He played Yularen, so he's not. Yeah, he's got Yasan, he's got Iceheart, he's got. So the drain modifier doesn't go below 0, but the total. I don't think you can just be like, oh, well, you subtracted 3 from it. I don't think you can drain for a negative amount, although that'd be amusing to just see, like, I'll drain you for -1. Go ahead and retrieve 1. Like, I don't think it works that way.
And Wen pointed out that my question could have been a lot more with Rebel Flight Suit non-V. So you're right, I should have specified. I was just wondering about what Scomplink was, and then just wanted to talk about Taco Bell or Kid Con.
So I think the modifiers... I think they all come into play. I don't think you can be like, oh, well, you subtracted 3, then I add 1 with the saber. I don't think it works that way. So, I mean, Greg was watching. I'm sure he'll pop in and tell me if I'm wrong, but and it apparently doesn't matter as Chris is walking everybody's happy butts over there.
Yeah, I mean,
or at least walking some of them. So Greg's in chat now. He missed the question. So Anakin's at the uplink station with Image of the Dark Lord on it and Vader at an adjacent site. So the drain there is -3. Can Brad initiate the drain of 2? It subtracts 3 that goes to a 0, and because it can't go negative, and then he adds 1 to it with the saber, giving him a drain of 1, or does it all, is the -3 just it's not summed to the total, it's just the drain's -3, if you can add stuff to it, you can. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, only the final result can't be negative. So
Chris retrieved a...
I like that he spread out.
Yep.
And he just grabbed the Bith Shuffle as well, because Brad's only got 8 cards down.
Yep. So even if he battles in, sure, whatever he's putting back with Briefio is in there for Destiny, but I think his days of swinging are done.
Yeah, he's going to drain for 2, but he can't initiate.
And I mean, wirfs is drawing up to 9.
wirfs is drawing a bunch. Honestly, I don't hate that. wirfs wants to find dudes.
No, I mean, I was going to agree with you. He wants someone to go down and punch you.
And wirfs now saved force. A full-scale alert here would actually be potentially really strong.
Yeah, and Brad activates everything.
Yep. And he'll drain for 1 and 1. The Kurita Dakime and Kurita Masterful Move combo from hand. Yep, there's... Brad was not going to bust out Coruscant Celebration there as a surprise. And wirfs is still sitting on a Gick. There's nothing you can do. There went the Dark Collaboration, because I don't think he's going to need it. I don't think it's going to come into play, really. But
I mean, he's not going to have enough people together to...
Yeah, non-Ozzel ISB leader, cancel it to trap, or react away, or 3 non-Ozzel ISB agents leaders. So Scoundrel Lando coming down there, I think he's got to move...
He's moving Anakin back.
Yeah, he's going to move Anakin back over, and
But if you're Chris, you're fine, because any turn that he's not battling into you, he's not retreating.
Yeah, and you're just at this point saying, and he doesn't move.
Oh. Well, I mean, Brad doesn't want to use the drain of 2 from the Garrison, but unless one of those, I assume he's got...
I mean, it was a drain of 2 no matter what. The Garrison doesn't add anything to it. It's a drain of 2 just because ISB.
Oh, ISB, yeah.
Garrison only adds at the opponent's sites.
Opponent's sites.
Yeah. So, here's where Tarkin could be really nasty. Fine, you just drain for 1, you drop Tarkin on top of Lando to okay, so Lando's power 8, but you just cancel the Battle Destiny, or power 10, but no Battle Destiny. And you make him lose Lando, you retrieve a force, withdraw their fire, you make him lose 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
Brad lost.
And honestly, then you could battle Anakin the same way. Brad doesn't have enough cards left.
Yeah.
Brad lost the Odin Nessa from hand, so there's Barrich, who's
this is even worse. Now he's going to draw another one. And I assume
So now it's not Tarkin, so you're just drawing and subtracting with Barrich, which is fine. You don't have to battle Anakin, but it's just kind of
I'm trying to think, do we know what the destinies are there? Because I know there's a 3 that he retreats, but there's no way to know if that's in practice.
So Joker King is saying battle into Anakin. I'm not even sure I'd battle into Anakin. I mean, maybe.
I would have put Sergeant Tarl there against.
I would have put Sergeant Tarl against Lando, battled into Lando, and then moved everybody else to the sewer, and just said good luck.
wirfs he agreed with us. He said that was dumb.
Yeah, that was. Well, I don't know what if he's battling into Anakin, Tarl there is fine.
No, but Tarl could have turned off Lando's destiny. He'd have been new to attrition, great, but.
Yeah, Chris is chat stream's going crazy. It is a little bit. I mean,
Chris,
not a ton.
I've been waiting for Sergeant Carl to have his moment in the sun in a competitive game, and it just let me down.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So So where is he getting the extra battle destiny from scanner tax or from?
The 2 biker scouts. You've got.
Oh yeah, I roll adds with Dresselin. Okay, so yeah, then he's not battling against Anakin at all. So
no, because he wouldn't have anything left. So
yeah. So instead, he's just battling, and then yeah, like you could have just walked away from Anakin and said it's a drain of 0. Have fun. Like
there's strategic reserve, which
is a 4. That's fine. Here.
Yep.
And Moff Gideon for the 3.
Which Vandalay could.
Vandalay could take him into hand, and I would not have hated that at all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's another card out of your black fountain right now. I don't think wirfs needs to, right?
And that might be it, is wirfs doesn't need any more dudes. So, and now the Barrich subtract comes out, I'm assuming.
If we play.
As soon as...
no.
No,
he's saving it. He's saving it so he can battle.
Oh, so he is planning to battle into Anakin. Okay.
Fine. I mean, you leave 2 of the biker scouts together. They're going to draw destiny.
Yeah, and maybe that's just it. Just fine there. You're... Yeah. Dresselin and I roll.
Draw 2 destiny together, you know.
Yeah, and then battle into Anakin is fine. You're going to cause him to lose a bunch of force. And actually, you're drawing 3 there that you can't even draw all 3.
Yeah, and I mean, Anakin's going to swing, kill Vader, or the Garrison. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll go after the Garrison. It's fine. It's
okay.
I don't think it mattered who he swung at. He wants to kill a guy. Like Vader might have been a good swing just because he's got the highest forfeit, but like Wolf Yularen forfeits for 7. You're not
saying you can't
getting more than that.
I don't see anything preventing you from swinging with Vader. Oh, because Garrison.
Oh yeah, the Garrison protects it. That's right. So
good call. Good call. I'm dumb.
Yeah, in that case, I'm not sure I wouldn't have just swung at Yularen and pounded the forfeit.
There's a 6 for that.
That's gonna sting.
And then
1. So yeah, like I definitely, Edward, I totally agree. I think Chris should have just walked away.
Wirfs took that one into hand, which I'm not sure I would have done that because
I mean, 5, it's only a 1.
Well, if he doesn't have a Hujix, this is GG. And that's 1. I mean, it doesn't matter.
If he doesn't have a Hujix, it's GG. That 1 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he's got enough down, it doesn't matter.
I'm about how to maximize diff regardless.
Yeah. Like if he doesn't have the Hujix, it's game no matter what. And Chris wins because he's got more than 5. There's the Hujix, which is okay. We made him prove it.
Yeah.
So he did not have the AJR though.
No.
And he's only got 8 cards down. Like so, Brad's
we know he has an Anakin in his hand, but it's the Jedi Anakin at cost
enough that
I mean not enough that you're battling.
Yeah, and just putting him down, like I don't see a line here for Brad. Honestly, like, and Chris playing ultra conservative and just walking everybody together, which I don't hate. Like, that way he can't jump you and take advantage of draw their fire.
Yeah. Oh, I mean.
And that's the site he can't do anything to you at.
That it's a net of 1 per turn because you're going to drain 1 and 1.
And then wirfs gets 1 back.
Yeah, with 8 cards.
Yeah,
and maybe play someone to the sewer because it's so spread out now. So any 1 card that you know.
But even that's just a drain of 1. Like you put a guy at the sewer, it's a drain of 1 because you've blocked that site for scanner tax where you're draining for 2. Yeah. So then you put someone at the sewer, you're doing a net of 2 to the net of 3. So there's Anakin for 7.
I mean,
you can't start a battle. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you're going to lose a force.
Yeah, lose a force to give him a saber.
He lost it from you to get this. He must love those 5 cards.
Yeah, he must. I mean,
Tarkin's
going to come visit.
Yes, he is.
So Brad draws 1.
Turn.
So he's only got 6 force down. Like, I mean, Tarkin here makes it ugly.
I mean, this is
like, he can't afford. Can he afford to lose 2 to add a battle destiny?
I mean, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
I mean, Anakin will forfeit for 8.
Yeah, so like Anakin.
That's exactly what he's down. He's down 3 destinies or 2 destinies. No.
Yeah, 2 because Callus adds 1.
No, the 2.
Oh yeah. So he's 3. Down 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tarkin's going to cancel 1 of his.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see a line here for Brad. I think Chris pulls this out.
Yeah.
Although I do think in retrospect, like, even though with the way this all went, I think Chris just walking away from the uplink station would have been the play. Like, fine, drain for 0. Just locks you in place. Yeah, so drain 1, he pitches careful planning.
Listen, Chris in chat or in the game was talking about the stream. He's doing it for the entertainment value.
Chris is pulling a bat mouse. Well, I know I won the game, so I'm just going to make things interesting. Like, yeah, Tarkin now says, how many can you afford to peel, Anakin? Because at that point, Brad almost has to lose 2 to add a battle destiny just to get something through. Like, you let the swing go, you hit him, I don't care. Whoever you hit, I'm going to lose a guy, whatever. And then he's up by 12. He's drawing 3 battle destiny to Brad's 1 effectively, and Brad's going to have to lose 2 to get that 1 through.
I mean, he's down 4 to start the battle, right?
Yeah.
And you got to think Brad's been cycling back like high destiny cards to 3PO.
But so has Chris.
Yeah.
Like, Chris has got decent destiny in there as well now.
Yeah, like.
And Chris can domination or whatever, so Isard.
Wide, yeah.
Yeah, now you definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this is the checkmate scenario, but, you mentioned putting cards back. We didn't see Hedra, so I don't think she's in the deck.
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet.
Yeah.
So, and there's the getting back another force push, makes Brad lose the Hear Me Baby. I actually like the Isard out there, just like, fine, I'll add a drain of 2 and make sure the math goes really well my way.
Yeah.
So swinging at Tarkin, I guess.
Fine.
Like, maybe if he's got Asari, like, we haven't seen Asari yet, and.
Yeah, but
Asari costs him 1 force, and Tarkin, yeah, like. It's more it would keep his destiny alive, like. Okay. Yeah, Tarkin isn't I mean, there's no good cards for Brad to have here. Like, I'm trying to kind of like, is there anything he can really do? So Force is strong with this one to add 1.
Fine, it's another destiny. I mean, it's another lost card, right?
Yeah. Like, and so he's going to lose 2 more with Anakin. So he's going to draw 3, and Tarkin's going to cancel 1 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because I'm going to lose,
Chris's destiny are solid.
5. Yeah. A 3.
5, a 3, and he could take that 3 in hand with.
Yeah. One of them's a 6.
Yeah, I think he's got a Palpatine. Oh, there's Blizzard 4, so he's at 9.
And the last one, I think, is no. Okay.
Oh, Dark Collab. Okay, so drew a total battle destiny of 14. So there's a 5, which at this point, honestly, you just cancel it with Tarkin. Like, It's
Does he have another 6? Okay.
yeah. I think he's just the deck's all full of 5s, so he's probably just drawing 3 straight 5s.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
That's easy.
that was
Yeah, there it is.
there it went. So congratulations to Chris Wirfs advancing
Yeah, congrats, Chris.
over
Well,
Brad. Chris played that very,
Brad,
very well.
yeah, played very well. And this was a fun, entertaining night of Star Wars cards.
Definitely. And Brad, I mean, Brad was the number 1 seed in the OCS. Brad had a hell of an OCS season, and I don't think he played this game poorly at all.
No, I
Like,
think this was I meta decked for you. You meta decked for me, and it was just I think Worf was just like advantage from the jump.
yeah, I think this was a deck that I think Wirfs was potentially meta decking for Diplo a little bit because I think this would have shredded Diplo. But I think it just happened to be that it also worked really well against any sort of mains platform. Like
Right.
if you're
Yeah, I
not
mean,
eliminating 2 to 3 characters a turn every single battle,
yeah.
you can't win against ISB. And I do think Brad missed his space. Like I never saw an X-Wing gun, which would have been the thing I would have expected to see.
I didn't see a cannon unless one of the 2 cards we didn't see at the end, or
Yeah, that's that would have been the thing I kind of would have expected just as a way to take down Mara. Because I also didn't see any other space from Chris.
yeah.
Like, well, we saw an Emperor's shuttle late. He did lose an Emperor's shuttle to a drain.
Yeah.
But no, I thought outstanding game. Thank you everybody for watching. Looks like we had a whole bunch of viewers on here, which is pretty awesome. Like these OCS games, there's going to be more all weekend. I think I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not running any of them, or I'm not streaming them. But I know we've got people streaming all weekend, and then I think we finish up Sunday and Monday. Actually, I take that back. There is a game tomorrow morning. Yoshi Sam Toshima is playing
Okay.
his match, and I will be streaming that at like 9:30 Central Time, something like that.
Okay.
Early in the morning. I'll be streaming that when everyone else is going to work, and so hopefully people can take a Wednesday.
Well, Garrett, I've got the day off, so if you need to come,
Oh, I will shoot you a message because yeah, I took the it's MEA weekend here, so the kids are all off school. So I took the most of the week off. Actually, the wife and I went up to Duluth yesterday and went and saw a concert and hung out in Duluth for a little while, and then came home. And
I'm sure YouTube's gonna love hearing all about that.
YouTube loves hearing everything about my life. I am that important and that much of an
Especially the
influencer.
frozen screen that you've had up, like
Yes, well, that's I'm an influencer who's also terrible with technology apparently. So I bought a webcam just to make this work, and I don't know what's going on. And Dan is, I'm sure, going to be texting me as soon as this closes with a let's figure out what happened with your webcam. But yeah, I will shoot you the Zoom link tomorrow, and we'll do this again. I think Sam's just playing one game.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning, and then yeah, there's games Thursday, Friday. I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think I'm streaming. I think I signed up to stream Justin Desai and Matt Harrison Trainer on like Sunday night and Monday night, something like that. So there's a bunch of high level games coming up. All real quick. You guys will be all full of Star Wars content for a little while, and then next weekend, you know what I mean, is Endor Grand Prix, which is going to be amazing, and then Ohio Mega Worlds or Meta Worlds, whatever Kendall's calling it right now, the Giant Ohio tournament, which will be awesome and a ton of fun. And if you can go to that, you definitely should, because I'm going to be there, and really that should be enough for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you everyone for listening to me and Garrett sit here and watch some really high and well played game of Star Wars CCG, and congratulations to Wirfs for moving on.
Definitely big congrats to wirfs, and I will see you tomorrow, Carl.
All right.